So today I want to talk a quick lesson about my mama and the leadership in action and what I've learned from her. So this might not seem like critical for some people, but my mother grew up Southern Baptist. And at a certain age, she decided in her 20s, she decided her life wasn't going the way she wanted it. And she was doing some things she wasn't supposed to do. She told me this because another thing about my mama is when I was going through chemo, she moved in my home for a year to take care of me. And so we got to talk a lot. And so she was, not very happy with the road that her life was going down. And so she decided she was going to switch over to Pentecostal church. Now, you would think in a normal world, maybe not a normal world, but in certain worlds, that's not such a big deal, right? She went from Southern Baptist to Pentecostal, but it was a big deal. And it was a big deal in her family, and she did it anyway. So my mom has always been about doing it anyway, which is something I have talked about repeatedly in some of these videos. You do it anyway, and she did it anyway. And what that did for her and her family is really amazing to me. One of the things is, one, she did it, and eventually her mom followed, and her mom, my grandmother Mamie, became an evangelist in the Pentecostal church. And not only that, fast forward, I'm 54, so this was right before I was born. So let's say 52 years later, my mom is now the pastor, associate pastor, and guess who her members are? Most of her family. So she brought everybody along with her. It took like 52 years, but it eventually happened. It taught me a lot about perseverance and really leaning into what you know is the right path for you, regardless of if you have the endorsement. Sometimes you're not going to have the endorsement of the people that you love the most. You're not going to have their endorsement, but you're going to have that belief in the faith that it is for you and this is your destination. So it taught me some great things about leadership. Sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. You're working with the limited amount of information, and you make the decision with the information that you have, and you stick to it. And then if things change, then you can flex. But sometimes you have to make those quick decisions. The other thing that my mom taught me in this journey of just her being her around leadership is when she did leave the Southern Baptist church and went over to a Pentecostal church, guess what, y'all? Her pastor was a female pastor. Let that sink in. Let's in the 1970s, female pastors. Some people don't even let women in their pulpits right now, but I grew up surrounded by all female pastors and ministers, and my pastor was Pastor R.C. Rush. Her name was actually Rosa, but she knew if people saw Rosa Rush that they might not invite her to the church, so she went by R.C. Rush. So I grew up around some innovative powerhouse women. Let me just say that. So they totally shaped who I am. And I come into the room bold, and to have that type of confidence, that's what you need to be a great leader. So if you didn't have that in your life, find that boldness in the people who can mentor you. Now look at your circle and see who can be that mentor for you in your life that will instill that type of boldness and confidence and risk taking, because you're going to need that to be a great leader. The other thing that I learned just in that little snippet of my life is my mom, when she switched over, she said, I chose this life for me. Now, she had myself and my sister. She goes, I chose this life for me. My kids have a choice, not a choice of going to church. Now, I grew up very going to church every day, Monday through Sunday, including Saturday. I was a part of everything. Not about attendance, but if you know anything about Pentecostal, right? Some families don't let their kids watch TV. They can't wear pants. They can't wear makeup. They can't wear, it's a lot of I can't, right? So can't listen to secular music. So all of these things. And she was very adamant that I chose this life. My kids did not choose this life. And so we could wear pants, we could watch TV, we could listen to secular music, we could wear makeup, we could get our hair done, all of that. And a lot of times in the church, they gave her a hard time. They gave my mom a hard time because a lot of the other people in church, their kids couldn't do A, B, C, D, E, X, G. It was like a whole list of things they couldn't do. But again, she said, I chose this life. My kids didn't chose this life. That's that. And I remember one time when I was in high school, y'all, and I got my hair braided, and it was nice. It took like a good 72 hours to get my hair braided. I went to school. I was looking fly. They thought I was a new kid at school. That's how it transformed my look. And I remember going to church, and I remember them talking and giving my mom such a hard time. I knew that they were giving her a hard time. And something that took 72 hours, y'all know 72 hours is 3 days to get my hair done, sit in a chair, get my hair done. After a week, I took it out. And I took it down because I didn't want my mom to have to go through that stress, right? But what she taught me in those moments, that you know what, my choices, not my kids' choices, and people in the church really giving her pushback, but she stood strong in that choice, taught me again how to be bold, how to stand in my decisions. And so I truly believe that as a great leader, those are some of the foundational things that really helped me. And another thing that my mom taught me, guys, now this is a lady who was born in the 1950s. She dropped out of high school. She went back and got her CNA, and y'all know because I posted about this, she graduated from college just this past December at 73. But let this marinate on you so you can have a feel of who Sabrina is and where my leadership style comes from. And this might be a little controversial for some of y'all, but I am so in this realm of here I am, here's what has shaped me, here's what you need to be a leader, and learn those lessons. And I will forever be appreciative of my mom. So here it is. A lot of people talk about, especially in the Pentecostal church and any church, y'all, we live in this day and age. You know what's going on out there. And so I remember I probably was like 12, 13 years old. And from a black folks out there, you know about the choir director, right? So our choir director, he was gay. And I remember my mom saying that he was born that way and God does not make any mistakes. And the test is not on him. It is on you and how you treat him. Let that sink in. The test is not on him, but it's on you and how you treat him. That's the stock that I come from. And so when I make decisions and I'm acting as a leader, I am coming from that place of empathy. I am coming from that place of respecting individual autonomy. I'm leading to really understand and not with these rigid sets of rules. And I'm also understand that there's some best practices out there as far as leadership and how do you work together as teams, but I'm not going to force anybody into conformity. My role is as a consultant and as a coach, it's like, here's the best practices. This organization does it this way, this organization does it that way. Find what works for you. Because there's no right, there's no wrong, there's best practices in this journey. And I learned that from my mama, y'all. And it has taken me a long way in this journey of breaking traditions and building strengths and really moving beyond and being able to be decisions. And so what I want you to learn from that and my mother's journey and part of my journey is I really want you to look around as a leader and ask yourself, as a leader, how am I approaching the situations? And how does my childhood experiences shape my leadership approach? I was working, I sat with someone today for lunch, and I considered a blessing. They had the opportunity and the trust to sit down and share, say, hey, this happened to me today. You know, my boss got in my face and was just like right here and was like yelling at me. And I don't really know how to handle that. And because of my childhood experiences and because of the journey that I've been on and the great role models that I had, here's what I said, here's my advice. Take it or leave it. You teach people how to treat you. So as a boss, there's nothing wrong with the boss saying X, Y, and Z because they're the boss. However, there is something wrong with the boss saying X, Y, and Z. They're here, you're here in their elevated voice. So you teach people how to treat you. And so my advice at that time was, pull them to the side and say, I really didn't disagree with the message that you gave me. I disagreed in how it was delivered. And I didn't feel comfortable with the delivery. And I think as a leader that would be appreciated. I've had staff come to me and say things and they pull me to the side and they share it with me. I really do feel that feedback is caring. And so I just wanted to come and share a little bit about my mama, y'all, because I absolutely love my mama. Yesterday was her birthday, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to get to kind of honor her memory, and not her memory because she's still here, but honor her influence over me and share some leadership moments all at the same time. Like that's leadership in action. I've had it all my life, from my mama to Pastor R.C. Rush, and it's so many women and men in my life that I'm going to be sharing about because I like to speak their names. So in speaking their name, I will end with my mother's name is Joyce Walker. And maybe on the next episode here, I will talk about Pastor R.C. Rush, which is Rosa Rush, and tell you all about her and the leadership lessons that I learned from her. But with that in mind, thank you. Drop in the comments wherever you're listening. If you want to share some of those childhood leadership journey moments that you've learned over the years and how that's influenced your leadership, I would love to hear that. Y'all be blessed. Bye.